Hello guys, Major Colton here with another build tutorial, and today I did a build over a request I got from a man named Cleric over at the Armored Core Legacy website, where he pretty much asked me if I could make a heavy biped or a tank that could kill an AC in around 5 seconds without using UWs or blades or kicks or anything like that. And today I'm going to show you what I come up with, and afterwards I'm going to give you a couple clips. Well, mind you, not exactly 5 seconds, but that's because I'm a little rusty with howitzers and it took me a few tries. On the second little clip I'll put up, you'll see that after that first one shot, it pretty much almost one-shot the enemy AC. And before I go on any further, there is a trick to using these howitzers. As you'll see the differences in my clip number 1 and clip number 2. In clip number 1, I just fire it like I would normally be out of scan mode, just fire. And you'll notice I miss a bunch and whatnot. But in the second clip, you'll notice that I'm in scan mode and I'm pretty much holding the triggers and I'm pretty much aiming with the scan mode reticle. And then whenever I'm ready to fire, I'm holding down the triggers and going out of scan mode, and I don't know how to explain it other than that it works, because doing that it makes a significant difference on whether or not you'll hit the target, and it helps a lot. Like my friend told me this trick. I picked up howitzers after he told me. I'm like, no way, and I pretty much just picked it up and started hitting shit with it and whatnot. And in case you guys didn't know the trick, there you go. And you'll notice it in the second clip that's put up, and how I use it and how I lead it. I still lead the shot like I normally would, but I don't know what it is about, if it's something in the game or if it's because of like some unconscious thing of way you aim with that different reticle. I don't know. I just know it helps, so you should give it a try. But let's get to the build and why I use the parts I did. First of all, you're going to notice I wanted to get a lot of mobility with the high boosting. So I used the L2HA 118 heavy biped legs because they have the highest movement control and they have really good turning performance. And basically that was so I could be mobile, because this is a mobile build. As for the arms, I used the AB 107D Barry Bull retrofit to stack KE on there. And in tandem with that, I also used the H07 Starlight Head and CB209 as well. All three pretty much just so I could stack KE on there so I can buff out Tansies. Because on this kind of leg type, on these specific legs, you're not going to buff out any barrel rifles, and if you do, you're going to have horrible KE. So what I thought is, it's pretty much going to be like a mid-weight with heavily plated on TE armor, and that's pretty much all it is, because this is faster than some midweights, but this is basically a midweight with armor plating for TE pretty much when you think about it. So again, the armors is 1826 for the KE, so it'll buff out all the rifles. The CE's 1219, so it'll buff out all the CE machine guns and some of the CE short-range missiles. And the TE is 2504, so you won't buff out Kurosawas, but you'll buff out pretty much all the laser rifles. But no one's going to use a laser rifle against a heavy. They're not, and if they do, it's not going to do much damage. As for the howitzers I prefer, and you would want to use for this build, for the I want to kill them and like so-and-so like almost instantly, like crazy amount of fast, you want to use these. The AUF K16's fully spec for power. And they have 5 simultaneous rounds, so 5 3,000 damage rounds going out of each of these. Pretty much imagine a shotgun, but if each bullet was a Strakoza round pretty much. And that is why these are so deadly. That's also why they're manual aim, because all the best guns of the game are manual aim, in my opinion, simply because they take a lot more skill to use, and they wouldn't want to give this such of an overpowered weapon to someone who could just pick it up and be great with it right off the bat. As for the missiles, you need to use these medium missiles, the SUJ G27s, pretty much because there's only one heavy biped frame that won't buff these out. They don't fire straight out of your chest, so unlike VDFs, so they won't get shot down by GATs as much. They do crazy amount of damage at 4 lock-ons, and you have dual shoulder units, so you're going to be firing 8 of these. So 8 missiles going at the enemy that do 2,325, and then about 10 rounds going at them, each of them doing 3,000. So if not instant kill, if you volley once from each of these, they're going to be damn well close to it. As for the FCS, I use the OT crit, or the FSL E28. And my reasoning for that is simply because you're obviously not using it for your guns, obviously. The only reason to have this is for your missiles, because it is the best missiling FCS in the game. As for the Recon Unit, I prefer always, here lately I've been using the Oscillatori Model 1s, because they're a good balance between the 2s and the 3s. They have great range, can easily spy your enemy before they see you. Really good for this kind of build, because if they notice you, they can make your life a lot more difficult if they know what you're bringing. So, and the operational time is 1,200, so you'll get a good scan in. Not that it matters. Your weapons are going to break through their face like it's nothing, unless I get one of these bad boys. And that brings me to the back units. The shield, you want 2 shields on the back. Oh yeah, by the way, don't worry about running out of ammo. You don't want to use this build unless you're good with it, and if you're good with it, you don't have to worry about it, because this ammo capacity is 250 for each one, so that's well enough to kill an entire enemy team if you know what you're doing. Also, that was another thing. He wants to be able to kill someone really fast, like I said, in that short time frame, and still have the weaponry to go on to kill more people. The shields, I chose the AUU EO5, simply because they have a massive amount of AP, 8,565, almost 9,000. So putting these bad boys on, you get like around 1,800 AP, not 1,800, 18,000 AP added onto your 35k. So that, if you really had to, you can just stack AP with your shields alone. And they also have the 3,925 CE defense. And that's really the main reason, is not just for the stacking of AP, because the mobility heavies have lower AP, but because your CE defense is 1219, and you need some CE armor. So you might as well just bring these big old plate mail shields, and you'll block out all battle rifles and heat howitzers, heat cannons, depending on their range and decay rate by the time they've gotten to you. Same with the howitzers, I think. They will buff out enemy handheld howitzers. Howitzer tank, they can I've seen these kind of shields take a few hits from them that would have instant killed, but save someone's life, so they're really good. They're probably the best CE shield in the game out of the two, in my opinion. Because some people will say they want this other one for the 1,000 added KE. Don't be fooled by that, guys. I've got a Zapiatoy Gatling gun and had a UNAC shoot me at while I had this out. And by the numbers on paper, it should block it out, you'd think. Because it has a higher defense than it has damage. But that's the kicker right there. It doesn't actually help. That 1,000 KE defense didn't do nothing. I had a dual Gatling UNAC with the Zapiatoys, around 500 KE damage shooting this thing. It should have been able to withstand it. It did not. It shredded through it as if it didn't have any defense. So really, you always want to use this one, because really the other stats other than CE don't matter at all. It has way more AP and crap ton of CE. So whenever you're using a CE shield, always use this one. Always. And the reason I didn't use the retrofit for this core piece is so I can, saying like I said a while ago, buff out the Tansies. The normal versions have the more KE armor. For the forgot the generator and the boosters. My bad. For the generator, I use the GED G23 because this is a high mobility build, and you're gonna need a quick succession of boosts, and you're gonna need that energy to come back fairly quickly. And to add speed onto this thing, chose the Tokunatsu Model 1s. And that's where that 305 speed comes from. Normally, if I use something I would be using on my normal builds, most of the time I use the Shinatsus. But on this, I wanted to give it that added speed, because this really needs its mobility because of that CE armor gap. And that's really all I got for this build. Check it. You're gonna stick around and watch these couple clips afterwards, and if you haven't joined up to Armored Core Legacy, just gonna give them a shout out quick here. It's a good place to go. I think they're going on 400, going on 400. They're 400 going on 500 last time I checked. In members, it's a lot. It's where most of the Armored Core community congregates forum-wise, and if you haven't joined up on there, I advise going by there because it's a good place to talk Armored Core with people you haven't and get to know new people. It's a really cool place. And like I said, this was a request by a guy named Cleric from there. And if you like the video, comment, like, subscribe. If you use the build and you think it was a good build and you liked it, leave me a comment below. And all in all, I'll see you in the next video.
System scan mode. System combat mode. System combat mode. System combat mode. System combat mode. Mission complete.